Hello there everyone. Welcome to a new Let's Play with me, your host Tim. And today, we're going to start playing through Banners of Ruin together. There will be some prep here that you can skip by moving the slider to the appropriate segment up here on YouTube. This way you can jump ahead past this prep in case you don't care about it. We'll talk for maybe like 4 or 5 minutes very briefly about what Banners of Ruin is, why we're playing it, and any special stuff I'll be doing while we play the game together. Alright, well let's get started. Banners of Ruin is a turn-based strategy game. The combat parts of this game play very similarly to Deep Sky Derelicts, only instead of each individual member of your party possessing their own individual deck, which they kinda do, their cards are a part of a larger deck, which consists of the equipment your characters have, what talents and skills they themselves possess, along with one's a part of a general deck that your entire party possesses. You will be squared off against different enemies, and there are 2 ranks to the formations, unlike in, let's say, in Deep Sky Derelicts 1. Gameplay has other differences to Deep Sky, and I'm only trying to describe the game as a turn-based tactical game in which we will have a deck of cards which determines what actions our characters can play. There are many more nuances and rules to this, and I can't really think of another game that it fits perfectly in. Some aspects of it will remind you of Disciples 2, or the Disciples game. The way that the scenario or campaign is played reminds me a bit of Inscription, but not quite. I haven't played Slay the Spire. I don't think it's quite like that, although it has some similarities, but many more differences. The game will feature anthropomorphic animals as the protagonists, as if we're playing like Redwall, that book series I used to read a long time ago. But it's a much more dark and gritty, bloody world than Redwall ever was. You should know that at the time of this recording, I have 10 hours sunk in this game. I've played it for the past few days, and I will not be playing the tutorial. I know enough about the game to skip it. And I've beaten the first boss, actually. They'd be wrong to say the first boss. The first chapter boss. Beating 3 bosses total. I like the game. It's got some amazing music, as you can hear, and the graphics are fantastic. I like the lore of the world, which is slowly being revealed as I adventure through the city, and I thought we might have fun playing it together. The game has a lot of... I think it has a lot of replayability to it, despite the fact I haven't played it for too long yet, enough to make me want to record a session of it. To that end, though, you should know that this is not going to be a super long playlist. I intend to play this maybe, 10 videos? Maybe a little more, maybe a little less, depending upon how far we're able to get in the game. For how I'll be playing this game, well, you should expect standard Tim stuff. I'll be talking about the decisions I'm making and why I'm making them, or I'll try my best to do so. And I will be reading everything as it's presented to us on screen, so that we get the feeling for where we're adventuring and why we're doing the things that we're doing, at least as best as I can. And with all that said, I think we're good to go. Oh, as for why I'm playing this game, I like it. I like it enough that I figured it would grace my channel. And since it's not going to be a long playlist, I don't think we'll be playing it for more than absolute tops 20 videos, if that. So, I think it would be fun. Alright, I'm going to go check out my voice, and if everything's coming out well, we'll be back to start a new game, so give me a few seconds. Alright, everyone. Everything sounds good. Let's go ahead and start a new game. Remember that I'm going to skip the tutorial, but I will still describe everything to you, since probably many of you have never even heard of this game. So let's go ahead and start. When you start the game, you will have to pick 2 animals that comprise your starting campaign, your adventuring group, your party. As you play the game, you will earn points, which are used to unlock further talents and traits that your party members possess. And if you recruited additional party members, you might be recruiting other animals who will unlock their abilities too, along with the ability to play them. At the time of this recording, I have unlocked these 3. You start with the mouse and bear, and I just unlocked the weasel as a class. since you will start with the mouse and bear, if you ever decide to pick up this game, I'm going to go ahead and start with these as well. Next, we can add challenges if we wish, or we can remove them if we so desire. Since I plan on playing the game as if it was a fresh start, I will leave out the hunters. It's a group of mercenaries hired to defeat us, and it sounds like they'll be very tough, but it has a good reward if you beat them. I'm going to leave them off at the moment. I'm not going to add any oaths either. These are ways to make your game tougher, but they add additional experience points to your group if you win. And I think it may even earn you more points at the end of the game. Looks like they add to your total score. Alright, well anyway, I'm going to choose the mouse and the bear. We're skipping the tutorial. Let's start. Although, perhaps we should only play the tutorial so you see the tutorial intro text, which will summarize why we're doing this, because we won't know otherwise. But I don't intend to play the tutorial. The Blackfoots have been dealt a mighty blow by the fearsome House Ender. Landon seeks his revenge. You and others loyal to the cause have been tasked with bringing the great city of Dawn's Point to its knees. But the odds are against you. We are playing a rebel faction, or, if we're taking it from the perspective of House Ender, terrorists. That, I think, is good enough. We won't need anything else but that. Okay, I thought that was the case, but I wanted to make sure I absolutely got it right. Alright, so let's go ahead and hit new game now. And begin the campaign. When we begin the game, you will first be presented with an option to make your game a little easier. Or rather, starting equipment, perhaps, or some other miscellaneous upgrade. In this case, we're being presented with these three choices. Before we choose these, though, I want to cover some of the game basics. Up here is what our starting deck consists of. At this moment in this game, my deck has always consisted of these things. I am unable to change it. I cannot add cards or remove cards from our starting deck. This is what we get, with one or two exceptions. I guess I'm not going to go over the cards at the moment. You will see me play them during combat, and I will get a chance to explain how they work then. This is our party screen, and it consists of 2 members in our party. Our mouse, Thawsunder, and our bear, Redmont. They are both level 1. They have 24 life. Life is not healed at the end of combats. You must find a way to heal yourself, either through combat means, similar to a game like Darkest Dungeon, by trying to delay killing all the enemies to heal yourselves, or find ways to heal yourself as you adventure through the city, through the main campaign, and not in combat. This button would bring up all of our upgraded cards, if we had any upgrades to apply to them. We do not have any upgraded cards at the moment. This shows our combat positions. This is the front rank. This is the rear rank. We will cover more of this later. This is our starting gear. I am going to leave the gear alone at this moment, and we will cover it more in depth after our first or second combat. This is the amount of florins that we possess, how much money we have acquired. Money is spent to purchase cards, purchase equipment, and hire additional people, as well as modify your deck, or possibly even other things in the game that I have not yet encountered. Down here is what I believe is the seed number for the run I am about to attempt. Our heroes are listed over here. We can see the amount of experience they have until they level up, how much stamina, which is the number on the left, and how much willpower, the number on the right, that they possess. We will cover this when we get into combat. Now, for a choice. We can take First Aid, which will give us the card on the right, adding it to our deck. We can gain 8 max vitality to both members, I believe, of our adventuring group. Or we can take a random upgrade token. This will improve one of the cards we possess in some fashion. I generally would choose this, but I think to start we will choose something a little more basic, so we don't overburden you with information, and we will instead just take 8 more max vitality. Ready yourself and dig deep to find some inner strength. Oh, maybe I can't choose it? Oh, do I have to choose someone? Uh-oh. Something's messed up. One second. This is what I want. Yes, I want this. Maybe I can't take this. I can't take anything. Is it? Okay, hold on. Okay, let's try this again. There we go. I have no clue what happened right there. I think I was hitting too many buttons at the start and the game got confused. Okay, so we've chosen to increase our max health by 8 points. So Falsunder and Redmont are a little healthier before we go to the adventure. When we chose one of those cards to begin our adventure with, we are now presented with the beginning of the game, the Forgotten Tunnel. We must choose this card. These ones have this symbol here, and we're not allowed to select the tunnel walls. The only thing in front of us is this. Raucous laughter echoes down the dark, damp tunnel. The Enders won't suspect a thing. We emerge from the black and find yourself in one of the guard bunks. Where the devils did you come from? You can't be here. Alright everyone, let's start combat. As far as I can tell, you will always have the first turn in combat. And you can have any of your characters in any position or rank act in any order that you wish. They are limited in what they can do by the amount of stamina and willpower points that they have in relation to the cards in front of them. Playing a card requires a certain amount of stamina, as indicated by the yellow field on the top left-hand corner, and possibly willpower in the lower section of the upper left, that in the blue segment there. Most cards in your deck can be used by anyone, but some cards can only be used by certain people. These will be skills or talents or weapon cards that they possess. Redmont here possesses the long sword, and only he is able to use this card. The card's effect is listed down below. He will do 8 damage to all the enemies here. Now, enemies. We can see their life and armor. I guess we should talk more about that too as well, so let's go about that first. We have armor and life. You should consider armor more like shielding from Deep Sky Derelicts, for example, or temporary health, as it were. Generally, attacks will take away your armor before they damage you. When your armor is at nothing, then your life begins to be hit, but some attacks will get past your armor and hurt you directly. We can also see the life that we have, 32 of 32 points. We can also see what types of equipment they're starting with. We'll look at that a little bit more later. For our enemies, we can see the same. And just like us, their armor must be whittled down first by most attacks before we can hurt their life. There are, of course, exceptions to this rule, which we will see later on as we play the game. We can see who they're attacking by holding over each individual enemy, and it will show me who they're attacking, both via an arrow pointed at that person, and by highlighting their target in red. The arrow type also hints as to the type of attack that they are doing. In this case, that arrow means that he will attack this particular row, and whichever opponent is located first therein. In this case, Falsunder. If Redmont was behind him, and Falsunder was not there, he would attack Redmont. In any case, we can also see what type of attack they're going to do by hovering down below here. They are both doing this 8 damage attack that provides them with a buff called Safety in Numbers. On turn start, if this character has 3 or more allies, their shield is raised to 10. Well, there's only 2 of them, so we don't have to worry about that. In any case, this guy's attacking Redmont for 8 damage. And this guy's attacking Falsunder for 8 damage. Falsunder has 14 shields, so he can take this hit without worrying about taking any actual damage. But Redmont can't. there are several ways for us to deal with this. We can increase Thorsunder's armor, obviously, or maybe not so obviously, by using a card in our hand. We can also move the enemy out of the way, and I think that would be a good opportunity to show you about how the enemy ranks work. Let's go ahead and use... First, let's use Redmont to use the longsword. And this says, 8 damage, attacks all targets on rank. That means this first column here. Next, we will use Thorsunder to use Kick. Select a target. If the position behind them is vacant, move them into it. Let's move this hare to the back rank. On your side of the board, you can use any of your party members and use as many skills as you desire. As long as you possess stamina to continue to do attacks, you can keep doing them. The enemy does not the same. They draw from a predetermined set of skills in a very specific order. And when they take their turns, they take their turns based on which rank it is, alternating between ranks. This mouse on the first rank is the only enemy that will be able to attack us this turn. The hare, who we kicked into the back rank, will attack next round, and this mouse will not attack. So we'll use Redmont and do a little damage to the hare. Alright, and that is it for the cards, or would be, but we have a card called Momentum. Discard a card and gain 3 symbol. This is an ability called Charge. Let's go ahead and use it. We'll discard this card, and it goes into our discard pile. And he's picked up 3 points of charge. Charge makes it so the next time that this hero performs an attack, the attack damage is increased by this amount. And this carries to every number, to every attack made by that one particular card used, like the next attack card. So if an attack card let you attack multiple times, this would do, in this case, 3 extra damage per attack on that card. Alright, in any case, we're out of cards in our hand. We could still do other actions because we have these. We'll talk about this in the future, when I decide to finally begin using what we see here. Okay, our next turn. Let's go ahead and see who he's attacking. So he's changed targets now. He wants to attack Thorsunder. With 9 hit points, we can kill him if we use a sharpened steel. Deals 8 weapon damage and applies 4 bleeding. What will happen now is that when his turn begins, he will take 4 points of bleed damage. Bleed damage ignores armor. And what will happen is that then, after that, this will tick down 1 point, and he'll suffer 3 points of bleeding the next round. As long as we're doing this sort of thing, let's do another action, and we'll use something called Withdraw. Apply 5 shield to a party member, swap them to another position. Movement on your field of the battle is generally limited, from what I've seen, by cards, and there aren't very many of them from what I've seen either. But you start with 1 withdraw. Note that it will take 1 willpower in addition to 1 stamina. In this case, because I have Redmont selected, he's using this, so we'll apply it to... I guess this could also apply to himself. But we'll apply it to Thorsunder. And now we can move him to another position on the battlefield. If he was going to attack us, which actually he wants to, he'll currently miss. There's no one in the position he wanted to attack. But he's going to die at the beginning of his turn anyway, because he's got 4 stacks of bleeding on him. As for over here, let's go ahead and use Strike. The extra damage that we had from Charge allowed us to kill that mouse. We have more stamina left over. We could play Vanguard and just kill this hare now, but let's play Guard instead. And we'll end our turn. Every battle that you are engaged in will provide your party with experience points. You generally will also earn money at the end of almost all the battles that you're in, as far as I'm aware. You also will gain an option to take a card. You do not have to choose any of these cards if you do not want them. And indeed, later on, you will be skipping cards because your deck might become overly bloated. But right now, we definitely want more cards. Let's go ahead and select Setup to start. Deal 6 damage, apply 2 vulnerable. Characters with vulnerable receive 25% more damage from attacks. Vulnerable ticks down 1 each turn, and we get to draw a card. A hooded figure looms in the dim light. It seems they've been expecting you. Oh, this is new! I wonder if things have now changed, because I beat the first chapter boss, and now I'm in chapter 2. Let's see what he has to talk about. As you turn a corner, you find yourself confronted by a wiry figure. Their identity masked by the dim light, but their noble birth betrayed by their fine robes. I don't know why you've come to Dawn's Point. The low, dry voice echoes off the cold stone. Oh, I know why you've come to Dawn's Point. I can help you reach him. My family are being held captive in Old Town. Help us flee the city, and I will arrange you entry into the keep. Find a boat and free my family. Then meet us in the sewers below the royal court. Do as I ask, and you will have your blood. You exchange a solemn, understanding nod with the old wolf before he sharply hurries off. Alright, everyone. That's interesting. Okay, so we are now looking at the main... I wonder why this is blue here. Sorry, there was some new things for me now that I beat the first chat again. I'm calling it chapter boss. I don't know what else to call it. I won the campaign once. I was victorious. No one died. Got to the end. It was glorious. Now things are a little different. So things are. I'm not sure why this is blue. In any case, let's talk about what we see here. We are currently on the way to the first boss in the outer districts. Each of these represents a different street or lane, I suppose. As we pick cards, the number up here will begin to decrease. When this number is at the end, we will have the option to fight the boss at that point. At the end of each of these lanes, there is a special reward if you make it down them. You generally want to explore as much as possible, do as many combats as you can, get as much loot as you're able to, as you want to be as strong as possible before you fight each of these bosses. The numbers here on these cards indicate that if you don't select this card, at the end of the round, after you select a different card, this number will tick down by 1, and if it's 0, this card will be discarded. In this case, we're being told that, effectively, we must fight. We have the option to choose a lane. As far as I can tell, there is no difference as to what lane we do the fight in. Let's go back to our characters and now look at their combat positions. So you've seen now us fight in combat once. You can shift where you want your characters to begin the combat in by moving them around on this board. At this point, I'm just going to leave both of them up on the front ranks. You can also change the equipment that the characters possess. But you can't unequip a weapon unless you replace it with another weapon. We are not allowed to take the axe off of Thalsunder. He must have a weapon. He has to have that one. But he does not need a shield if you don't want to give him that. Some weapons are two-handed. This longsword is such, and we can't give the shield to Redmont because he's wielding that longsword. Finally, there's different types of armor. As we can see, Thalso is starting with medium armor, which gives him 14 shield. As for Redmont, he only gets 6 armor, but the light armor gives him 1 more stamina whenever his turn starts. Alright. Let's go ahead and pick a combat. And let's try... This one's blue. So let's go ahead and see what this blue thing leads us. Oh, it's doing this weird thing again. Okay, I don't know why it's doing this. Did this work? Okay, I'll be right back again, everyone. I've never had this trouble before. It's probably because I'm doing a ton of clicking around. To fix it, I just quit back to the main menu and then play the game and then start the game again. Alright. We have 1, 2, 3 mice attacking. And 2 of them are attacking Thawsunder. One of them is attacking Redmont. Here's what I think we're going to do. I'm going to see if we can withdraw ourselves. I've never tried this before, so let's see if it works. So if I choose withdraw and select Thawsunder. Okay, he can use it on himself. Let's move him. He'll move himself over here. Now these 2 targets are striking no one, and they will both miss. Let's use the hatchet on one of these 2 as well. It would do 8 damage, and if it goes through their shield, Thawsunder will gain 2 charge. Redmont will kick this mouse to the back rank, preventing himself from taking any damage and making sure that now the enemies will have to alternate their turns of attack. To end with, we'll use guard on him. Okay. Let's start with Thawsunder. Actually, who's he attacking? So he's attacking Redmont this turn. Let's start by using our round shield, which is the shield item that Thawsunder is wielding. He'll gain 10 armor, and it spawns a card in his hand. Take cover. It costs nothing to use this, and we'll go ahead and add it to Redmont. Notice that this says Banish after this. Banished cards are removed from the deck and will not be re-added until the next combat. But in this case, Take Cover was also spawned, so it is not part of our deck normally and will not be in our deck in the future. However, Round Shield, if we get it again, can be used again and will spawn a new Take Cover. So basically, Round Shield ensures that Thawsunder gains 10 armor and Redmont gains 5. Okay, so he's attacking Redmont, who can take that 8 damage without too much worry. Let's go ahead and use Longsword. And since it does 8 damage to all targets in the rank, we'll use it here to kill one of these mice and damage the other. They both have 1 stamina left. Since he has some charge, let's go ahead and use Strike to damage this one. And Thawsunder will use Guard. Alright, we have our new setup card. This will kill a mouse if I decide to use it on one. Let's go. Actually, we won this round without too much trouble. So let's use setup here. We'll have Thawsunder use momentum, discarding the guard card to gain 3 charge. And then he can strike this one. Whereas Redmont can use Vanguard to ensure this one dies. 98 bucks. And another card. Deep Strike. I have not seen these ones before. Deal 5 damage. If opponent is in back rank, deal 4 damage plus 4 damage per character's level. Upper Hand. Deal 6 damage. Apply Upper Hand. When this character deals a total of 30 damage to opponent, they gain 1 max stamina this combat. Banish. This must be an ability that sticks with us for an entire combat. I do like seeing Banish on cards like this, because they don't clutter my deck for the remainder of the battle. And it looks like we have an ability to heal ourselves as well, if we ever gain Winded. I think out of these two sound nice. This one requires some time to build up for. This one will become more powerful if enemies are in the back rank and as we level up. Why don't we choose Deep Strike? Actually, yeah, let's choose Deep Strike. Oh, the alt ticked down. I thought that would not be the case. Alright, well, we have a choice. Merchant in trouble. You see a couple brutish thugs shaking down a merchant. Execute. Actually, I should only read the one that I decide to select. Or Sanctuary, chance to heal. I think we should do one of these two. And we'll choose Merchant in trouble. You see a couple brutish thugs shaking down a merchant. You see a merchant during a shakedown with some thugs. There doesn't seem to be any guards around. We can earn 250 florins if we take some goods while they're distracted. But there's a random outcome for doing so. Or we can defend the merchant, and we'll earn a card. Let's choose this. You approach the scene and address the thugs, brandishing your steel. If you're looking for trouble, you found it. It doesn't take them long to excuse themselves. Thank you, strangers. I'd never seen those brutes before. Where are those sodding guards when you need them, I tell you? Please, take something from my wares. Red powder. Deal 5 damage to rank. Apply 3 overwhelm. Another withdrawal to move party members around. Or colossal smash. We do not have the stamina to even play colossal stash, so this card would not be usable for us at the moment. I think I do like red powder. And another withdrawal could also be useful. By the way, you don't have to pick any of these cards, but I want one of them. Let's pick red powder. Off-duty guards. In this case, if we wait around, this card will become a different card. We could heal ourselves, but we haven't taken any damage. Or we could move a card to this lane and add +1 to it. Let's use the decoy. And we'll choose quick round. We have a choice to choose a combat, or we can eliminate the drunken... Oh, I'm sorry. Or we can get 300 florins by fleecing the drunken guards. Let's choose this one. A fine opportunity to fleece these idiots for every penny on them. They'll face worse when they're disciplined. A heavy patrol. This means it's a tougher combat. But it does mean we'll get loot at the end of this as well. If we're victorious here, though, there'll be a heal afterwards waiting for us, but this will be a tough battle so early on. Let's try it. A city guardsman. Sweep attack. Deals 5 damage to opponent's rank. Prioritizes front rank. It's going to damage both of us for 5 damage. This guy is doing the same thing as well. This guy is attacking Redmont, so Redmont's about to take a ton of damage. We're going to need to shield him if we want to actually survive this. Let's start by using red powder to apply 5 damage and overwhelm to the rank. We'll use a shield on himself. He has no choice but to use it on himself. And take cover on Redmont. Redmont can do 10 damage. Let's do it to the Enforcer. And then strike him. Killing him off, and then we shield ourselves. All right. End the turn. So, they're doing a strength 12 attack, one on each of my party members. It deals 12 damage, but if the guardsman is bleeding, it only does 6 instead. We do have a sharpened steel, which will apply bleeding to a target. I think we should probably do that. Let's afflict this one with sharpened steel. As you can see down here, it changed it to 6 damage now. Redmont is going to use momentum to start. And we'll go ahead and discard the deep strike, which we're not going to use this round. Momentum will let him do 3 more damage, which I believe will affect both swings of his longsword. Oh, 11 and then 10. Oh, it must... Okay. Charge ticks down. No, I'm sorry. This guy had 1 armor, so that's what happened there. Okay. And then we'll use guard on Redmont. Okay. This guard is dead when his turn activates, so we don't have to care about him. He's the only one we have to fight. He's going to do 8 damage to my lane this time. Notice that the arrow symbol is a little bit different. If False Thunder was behind Redmont, he would also be attacked by this attack. If any opponent hits receives vitality damage, 1 bleed is applied. So if this 8 damage goes through our armor and hurts us, then we'll also take 1 point of bleed. We can easily move Redmont out of the way. I think we'll probably end up doing that, but let's go ahead first and use setup. Or, yeah, let's use setup first. We'll do 6 damage to him and draw a card. We also put overwhelm on him. We could probably kill him with a single strike. And if that doesn't work, we can either kick him out of the way, move us out of the way, or even shield ourselves. Let's strike him. Alright, did not kill him. Let's go ahead then and withdraw ourselves here. And use a shield. Final round. Hatchet to win. 110 florins. And the card. Calculating Strike. Deal 8 damage. Gain 2 backpack. Preparation. At the start of your turn, draw an additional card for every stack of backpack. Ticks down by 1 each turn. If you want card draw, this is a good one to get, and we're going to want card draw. Let's pick this. We've also gotten some equipment. Let's see what we earned. A notch sword. 8 damage. Nothing fancy. Only 1 stamina. A hammer. 9 damage. Apply 3 vulnerable. Let's show you something new as well, everyone. Let's go ahead and give the club to Redmont. And the notch sword. You can dual wield in this game. And we'll give him these. We'll keep the long sword at the moment, because I want to show you something important. Loot that you leave here will be dropped and left behind. This loot is kept in your stash, in case you want to swap around equipment later on. False Thunder and Redmont are now also both level 2. Now we get a chance to level them up. Let's go ahead and do that. When a character levels, you will get to choose stamina or will to level. You also will get to choose either a talent, I think that's what, I'm sorry, a skill? Talent? Skill, which is unique to them. They will be the only ones generally able to use it. Or, if it's a odd level, you'll get to choose stamina or will, and a talent point. Let's see what skills are available for our mouse warrior. Barrage. Deal 2 times 4 damage. After playing this, shuffles back into your draw pile. Battle Tempo. If active character is in front rank, deal 1 times 5 damage. In back rank, gain 1 times 5 shield. Exertion. Pick 1 card from your discard hand. Pick 1 card from your discard to move to hand. Gain Exertion. The next card this character plays is banished. Let's choose Exertion. And we'll upgrade his stamina to start. I generally find stamina is a better thing to upgrade than will early on. At least so far in the game. And by that I mean based on what I've played so far, but I might be wrong since we're actually seeing some new stuff here too. As for our bear, Redmon can gain Bull's Charge, deals weapon damage. If this target has moved this combat, apply 6 bleed and 3 vulnerable. All or nothing. Character gains half their... Actually, you guys can read this. You don't need me to read it. So, I'm thinking we either take a heal, strong stuff, or Bull's Charge. Bull's Charge is very situational at 3 stamina to use it. I think this early on, I'd rather have a heal. Plus, it will let me show you how poison works. So let's take strong stuff. And willpower for... Oh, sorry, stamina for him as well. Looks like a search party has found us. They stumbled across you. One of them figured you out and alerted the others. We have a guaranteed combat. Let's fight them. Oh, it's the same group we just fought. Okay. Well, let's start by trying to kill the... Oh, actually, this looks like a slightly stronger group. This guy's got 32 hit points this time. We've also got... Oh, of course they're stronger, because we've also leveled up. Okay. Well, they're doing the same attacks they were doing. 5 to everyone. 5 to everyone. 10 damage to Redmont. I think we can kill the Enforcer. Oh, or... I think we can. So let's use red powder to apply 5 damage to everyone here. And then a club to apply vulnerable and do 9 damage to the Enforcer. He'll die in 1 more hit. Let's show you what this does now. Note that it changes depending upon the character I've selected. This is their racial ability. Mice have whatever this is, and the bear have whatever this is. The bear's ability removes various debuffs and provides him with armor in return. The mouse's gives him a special stack of whatever this ability is. Whenever he attacks, when he attacks this turn, every time that he attacks, this turn, for the next card he plays, every time that card does damage, I think damage to an enemy, every time it hurts someone, it will give him 3 charge. So let's go ahead and use it. And we could kill this guy. I'm not gonna. We're gonna go ahead and, well, let's use it on him. Notice that we killed him. If we had targeted one of the weasels, we would have gotten 9 stacks of charge instead of just 3. We have a deep strike. Let's go ahead and use that here. And then we're going to kick this guy to the back rank. And end our turn. Something very important to note, by the way. We applied that Overwhelm on this rank. Notice that he still has it on him because he never had his turn. His turn never got to end either. Let's go ahead and try killing him. So let's use a Notch Sword to do 8 damage to him. And a Vanguard to do 10 more damage, which should kill him. We can bleed his friend. We can strike his friend. And Redmont can just guard himself. There's something else, by the way, you might have noticed about stamina and willpower. I forgot to describe it earlier on. Your stamina is replenished to whatever stamina you will gain at the start of each of your turns. But willpower is gone when used. You will regain it at the start of the next combat, not at the start of the next turn. Alright, well, let's keep going. Oh, right, good. This lets me show you something else, too. So, first off, note that we have Exertion. Let's go ahead and use it. To select a card from our discard pile, we'll take Rush. And let's use Momentum to discard a card. Actually, before we do that, do I have to do that? I do. Okay, let's discard the guard card. This was a mistake. But I wanted to show you something else, and I wasn't going to get a chance to do so. Notice, by the way, what we have in our hand. The longsword card. But we don't have a longsword on our party. Notice the symbol on this. It's in our stash. We can't use the longsword, even though it's holding onto our stash. We're effectively carrying it, and so I imagine that it's weighing us down, which is why it shows up here. I think that if we don't use this card in any way, it will be banished at the end of this round. But I'm intending to kill this guy this round, so we'll have to see that in the future. What I should have done, though, and what I would have done normally if I didn't want to show you guys the longsword, is I would have discarded the longsword instead of the one card I did discard. Anyway, let's go ahead and play Rush. 135 bucks. And we gained a card. Reckless Aid. Apply 15 shield to an ally. Active character and ally both gain 1 winded, 1 less stamina. Sunder. Deal 5 damage to shield. For every 2 stacks of vulnerable on an opponent, deal an additional 15 damage to shield. Experience Strike. Deals 5 damage. Each time you play this card, plus 5 damage. If unplayed during cleanup, damage is reset. If you don't play this card on your turn, it goes back to 5 damage. I like the sound of either of these ones. This one sounds useful in a desperate situation, but I think we're going to go with one of these. They're both 2 stamina cards, so it's going to be expensive. This only works on, basically, armor. It doesn't actually hurt our opponents at all. This hurts the opponents that get stronger over time. Let's take Experience Strike. We have a chance to heal ourselves again, but none of us are damaged. We have High Spirits. High Spirits gives us a special effect called Vigor. It's the next time we're in combat. The first time we use a card, Vigor will take up the stamina cost for us. So very useful on the first round of combat to help you play as many cards as you can from your hand. We also have the Blackfoot Stash, which is what I'm going to choose. It's a chance to offload, which means removing a card from our deck. A small wooden hideaway discreetly obscured by a fruit wagon. Your brothers have offloaded their unneeded wares here. You see a familiar symbol. Your brothers have been here. We can't hold on to this. Just like any card game in which you're building a deck, you don't want cards that you feel are garbage. In this case, I don't want strikes, and I don't want guards. Not generally. Let's start by discarding a strike card. Mentor. Modify your deck. This will allow us to, I think, duplicate a card in our deck if we so desire. I do see a combat here, though, which is what I'm going to choose. We also have Crossroads. If we choose the Crossroads, both of these lanes will be set to this number. But I don't want that to occur. I want to encounter more cards before we reach this boss. So let's choose combat. Some thugs this time. Forceful Blow. Deals 8 damage. If opponent has shields, applies to vulnerable. Moves forward if possible. Rush. Deal 2 times 4 damage. Move swaps to random position. This one is also using vulnerable. Who's attacking who? We should try to kill the scoundrel. to start. The longsword will do 8 damage to each of them. We can then play a sharpened steel. But I won't be able to use the notched sword if I also want to use experienced strike. Because it's 6 stamina, 2 each. But we've got 7. Is that right? Longsword for 2. If I want to use the notched sword, it can only be used by Redmont. So he's effectively at 3 stamina. So I can't play all 3 of these this round. I think, because we have 19 cards left in our deck, we will probably not draw Experienced Strike again. So I'm not going to be interested in that one then. So let's start... Oh, actually, no, hold on. We have a longsword. We can't play this card, so this doesn't matter. So let's... Oh, wow. That's a bit awkward then. I should have discarded this card because I don't actually intend to use this. Well, let's go ahead and start. So let's play Sharpened Steel. We're going to try to kill this rat. Longsword. Darn it. We could have ignored him if I wasn't so worried about the damage he's going to do. So we're going to Experience Strike and kill it. And Redmont's going to guard. And as you saw, the longsword is now banished. We will not draw it again. Now we better be able to kill these guys, or at least one of them who's attacking Redmont, because he's got 3 shields left and vulnerable on him. I don't know if we can kill both of these this round, but I do see a withdrawal in our deck. I'm going to try to go after this guy. Sorry, Let's just immediately... I want to kill one and withdraw the other who's going to be attacked still. Let's see if it looks like... Actually, I know I can't kill him this round. Or maybe I can. We'll have to get lucky. Let's use our mouse's special ability this round. And we'll use red powder, which should give him 6 charge. We'll use club on him, this guy. And now we can use strike on him to kill him. He can shield himself and take cover on Redmont, while Redmont withdraws him to a safer spot. Okay, and hopefully we can kill him this round? I don't think we can, actually. But thankfully, even though it looks like he's attacking, he's actually just gaining 8 defense this turn. Let's go ahead and momentum on Redmont. And we'll discard one of these shields. We can Vanguard to do 10 damage. 6 damage normally, but if he's on the person who's going to use this card is on the front rank, he does 4 more damage. Gain more shield. End our turn. Let's apply setup, which gives us solid footing. We don't need the strong stuff. Okay, let's show you this as well. So if we kick this guy into the back rank, no one is now in the front rank. The front rank's still acting. We've effectively stunned the last enemy for 1 round, and we have another round in which we could act if we so desire. We could fish for a healing card, for example, or do other things by trying to delay the end of combat. 90 bucks and a card. Trauma. Apply 4 marked. When this character dies, stacks of vulnerable equal to marked are applied to members of their party. Ticks down by 1 each turn. Solid footing. Another solid footing. Gain 15 shield. Gains pacified. Can't play cards. Or deep breaths. Discard all ruined cards. Draw that many. We haven't seen ruined cards yet. so we don't need deep breaths quite yet. I think we'll choose... I don't know about either of these, to tell you the truth. I think we'll just skip these. We won't take any of these cards. Although, another solid footing could be useful. I would absolutely want to discard one of my shields, though, to make up for this. I guess we will take a solid footing. Kylderkin. A weasel and an otter skittishly haul a barrel through the crowds, deftly dodging each passerby. Ah! The weasel yells, stopping abruptly. Watch that cobble by your left foot! Terribly set! Makes you wonder where the tax goes. You point to a small crack on the side of the barrel, which is leaking a thin stream of crimson powder onto the street. The otter gasps, quickly plugging it with a crude wedge of cork. Ah, thanks, friend. Could have lost a leg to that. Powder is a tricky business. He nods to the weasel, who rests the barrel on the ground and unplugs 3 corks, each revealing different colors of powder. Say, you in need of any? We can gain another red powder. We can gain pink powder, which is something I generally really like. Apply 5 damage to rank. Apply 3 vulnerable. We'll probably be buying this. I have never seen this before. Yellow powder. Oh, okay, it's got crippled. Deal 5 damage to rank and applies crippled. Whenever a character moves, they take crippled damage. And takes down by 1 at the end of the turn. If you have a lot of movement shenanigans you can apply to the enemies, then this is really useful. But we only have our kick at this moment. So I think pink powder or more red powder is for us. I think we'll take pink powder. While Overwhelm stacks, pink powder does not. But pink powder will, the vulnerable will last for longer. So let's take this. Back alley. You see a narrow gap in the side of the street, obscured by passerbys. It looks quiet and unguarded. Select a lane and remove the next 2 cards. Am I allowed to do that? Apparently I am. We can heal with the Blackfoot contract. Or we could buy weapons at the weapon merchant. Let's visit the weapon merchant. The mouse addresses you. Never listen to those who say the tools of your trade are unimportant. A good tool is necessary to be an efficient tradesman, of which you are a certain sort. Name your tool of choice. I'm sure we can find a good fit. We're melee. Let's do 4 different melee weapons. Good choice. Step this way. The mouse continues. These are 200 florins each. No funny business, understand? After you finish viewing these weapons, you'll be charged 200 florins for each new weapon you have equipped on the character or added to your stash. If we could get a sledgehammer, that would be pretty amazing. Let's see what two-handed weapons and polearms are available. They're unfortunately not available. A great sword, 12 damage to all targets on rank for 3 stamina. Polearm, 12 damage. If target is crippled, double damage. A great axe. If this breaks a target's defense, deal damage equal to the defense lost to all adjacent, I think, targets. Billhook, 10 damage. Move swaps opponent to target position. This could be really useful. So we'll actually buy the billhook. I'm just going to drop that. And I'm going to keep our club around at this moment. You hand over your florins. Pleasure doing business, the mouse says in an ingratiating voice, grinning from ear to ear. This is a chance to heal, which I don't really need. I'm curious if clearing the streets to this depth means that this goes back up to 9. Let's choose this. It did not. It just decreases it by 1. A bunch of combats with 1 special combat, which will have more equipment in it. Let's choose this combat. Our first ranged opponent back here, guaranteeing as well that the enemies will be alternating their turns. The spearman is doing 8 damage. Oh, we see these guys at the very beginning. Okay, so we have 2 of these hares. One's attacking Redmont, one's attacking Thawsunder. And we have another weasel who's doing the 5 damage to everyone on the rank. We're starting with the club, which doesn't help me at all because we don't have an option to actually use that. We have nothing in our discard pile either, so exertion is useless. This is a really awful starting hand for us. Unfortunately, there's nothing we really can do. Actually, or is there? We can play a card, it will go into our discard, and then we could play Exertion to get it back out of our discard and play it again, which I think is what we're going to have to do. Because we definitely want one of these hares eliminated. And we want this one eliminated. So let's start with a Sharpened Steel here. We'll play an Exertion to grab it back into our hand again. I'd rather not discard this card permanently, which is what happens. It gets banished next time we play a card. So we're going to have Redmont do the Sharpened Steel on this guy again. And now he'll die when he activates thanks to the 8 bleed damage. Thawsunder can banish one of these 2 cards now with Exertion, which is exactly what I want him to do. So why don't we use Guard? Banishing that card forever, or sorry, for this combat, which is fantastic. And now with 1 stamina left, we'll play a strike and do some damage to, I think, the weasel. And that's it. And our club should now be banished also. Okay, their weasel's up. He's going to do 8 damage to a target and applies 1 winded, so they'll lose 1 stamina at the beginning of the next round. Notice the target symbol. Wherever he moves to, he's still going to be targeted. So moving him out of the way won't actually work. He has to take this upcoming hit. I think what we'll do... Actually, I wouldn't mind killing one of these guys. But I don't know how we do that this turn. The hatchet has to be played, by the way, by Thawsunder. Why don't we start with a momentum and discard... That was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that. A discard a guard. Getting 3 charge. I should have played Calculating Strike first to see what else we're getting. Let's play Calculating Strike now to do 8 damage to a target. Oh... If I want to kill him, it would be best for me to use the hatchet first. So let's do that to get rid of his armor and gain even more charge. Sorry, we used our 3 charge to do extra damage to him. Right. Let's use Calculating Strike now. Oh, right, we gain Backpack. We don't actually gain cards that turn. Since he's taking 8 damage and only has 2 armor, let's use Solid Footing to give him 15 more armor. And end the turn. Okay, so I think we'll start with some red powder on these 2. I should have used his mouse ability first to gain more charge, but I did not do so. Our billhooks is available. Why not use that to shuffle one of these 2 people into the back rank? So let's actually use that on him. And we'll swap him with the archer. Now the archer's going to get to go, even though we just swapped it. But I intend to kill it this round. Let's use a pink powder next. Killing it and putting vulnerable on the hare. If I want to kill this round, and I think I do, we need to deep strike him. Actually, yes, this should kill him. A shame in a way. I would love to use this back here for the extra damage, but, well, this is not going to happen. Actually, we could... No, I don't have an extra stamina. We could also kill him right now with the setup. That will let us draw a card, but I have no 0 stamina cards left in my deck. So we can't play it whenever we draw. So let's just play Deep Strike. Alright. And now we kill him. And I think we just need 1 experience strike to do it, thanks to the fact he's got 3 overwhelm on him. 152 florins. Some equipment. Winged mace. 8 damage. If target has shields, double damage. Great axe. 14. Oh, we've seen this before. I generally prefer doing having vulnerable on a target than having this single attack do double damage, because everyone benefits from the vulnerable. So I'm going to keep what I have and not take either of these. And the card? Vanguard's a good one for my frontline fighters, doing 10 damage to enemies. Sunder could also be useful, since we do have the ability to put vulnerables on people. It would let us quickly get through armor. I'm a little nervous having it so early in the game. Let's pick it. Armor reserves. We could gain some weapons and armor there. We could have an elite combat battle here. I believe this means we're fighting an enemy that we would see in the next stage of this chapter. This would be really difficult for us to do this early on. And Knife Merchant would sell us cards. I'm not really interested in that very much. Let's try this fight or flight, and we'll have a nice, really difficult battle. Oh, what we could do is... No, let's do this. Let's try an elite battle. I don't think we'll win. I think we're gonna lose. We'll die here, but it will be fun to give it a try, and you guys will have seen the game, and we'll try it again in the next time. In the next video. Look at that graphic. There you are. A voice declares as you emerge from a stifling back alley. Run them down. I've got a bad feeling about this. If we don't have a good starting hand, it's over for us. Alright. 10 damage and applies 1 bleed. 12 damage, he gains 5 defense. 10 damage, 1 bleed. And we have 2 archers that will deal 5 damage. 20 total. I don't think we're winning this. We need to kill one of the back lines. Let's start by using our mouse's ability to rush a target and gain some charge. Our mouse is taking 20 damage. Redmont is taking 12. Let's use guard on Redmont. And calculating strike. But I'm going to target one of the back lines here. We'll strike him as well. And then we'll use solid footing here. Damage, both of which are going to thaw asunder, and we can't move him out of the way. I think we'll probably have to use exertion to draw solid footing to give him some more armor this round. Oh, or we could swap him to the front rank instead. I think that's a better idea with the bill hook. Yes, I think that's a better idea. Let's do it. Which one do I want to... I want to move... Can I kill this one this turn? No, I don't have anywhere near the damage I would require for that. So let's bill hook him and pull him forward into this spot. Still targeting our mouse, but now he's taking 28 damage, not 40. And he'll attack next round for only 5 damage. We can move him out of the way with a withdrawal. That's our last point of willpower, though, so I think we'll hold on to that. I think we are going to use exertion to grab solid footing, and then we're going to use that on him. He's still going to take damage, 4 points of it, but at least he'll survive. We could move him out of the way so that he takes just 20 damage with the withdrawal, but that's the last time we're doing that. I guess we will do that. Let's move him out of the way. And Redmont uses a guard. Six damage to the whole rank, 6 damage to the whole rank. And 5 damage to Thaw Sunder. I don't know if we can kill anyone here. Let's use red powder on the rank. We'll do extra damage thanks to the charge, so I think this is a good idea. Actually, yes, we already used his racial ability. I don't think, though, we can kill one with what we have left. I would love to kill one of the weasels, but I just don't see it happening. We do 8, 18, 23 damage. No, we're not going to do it. Even with the increased damage, that's still only... At most, that would be 36, which is still not enough to kill the weasel. So I guess we'll kill the archer, since we can kill him. And then we'll start working the smaller otter. And we'll give him the guard. And that's it. $18 damage to Redmont. And also shooting him for 10 more. This is awful. The best I can hope to do is shield him for 5. And I can't kill either of them this turn. Because I don't think I can. Let's start with a setup here. Pink powder could be useful. Let's use momentum to start then, and we'll get rid of this kick that we're not going to use this round. To give us 3 charge, and we'll use pink powder on the back rank to damage both of them. We can use a round shield next. Give a little armor to Redmont, who's about to take a ton of damage. while he tries to bleed out that crossbowman. Oh. Moves opponent backwards in lane. If position is occupied, opponent is in back rank, deal 6. So he's going to push him back and do no damage. The same with this guy. I think I'm okay with that. I don't mind if they do that. I want to instead focus on these ones instead. So let's use a red powder here. And then a deep strike to do 12 damage and kill this guy. We can use solid footing. Try to get some armor. And then do a little more damage to him since he does have overwhelm and vulnerable this round. He's getting 10 defense. That's the only thing he's doing this round. I don't want to pull him forward, because I don't want to have to deal with 3 of them on this rank in the future. I want them alternating turns. Let's use a round shield here to use take cover and get more armor for Redmont. If I'm going to use Sharpened Steel, it's better for Redmont to use it because it does weapon damage. I think we can kill one of these guys this turn. See, we should Sharpened Steel him to put bleeds on him to start damaging him. I guess we'll start with a bull with a Vanguard here. Take away some of that armor. Billhook here. Over Sharpened... Actually, let's kill this one. Or set him up to die. Okay. Our strong stuff is in our hand, and he needs 15 Vitality. They're both attacking Thawsunder, but they won't get through his armor. So Redmont will go ahead and use strong stuff. Now, he's poisoned this round. He doesn't have any willpower. Poison's going to damage him 1 point of damage and then go up 1 stack each turn. But poison actually damages your armor before your life. But now we are on a timer, or Redmont will start taking more damage. Let's see. Let's set up... Do I want to strike him and set up him? He's going to move forward next round after he goes. Let's focus on killing one of the other weasels then. That's a shame. We could have taken away all his armor had I put vulnerable on him instead. Okay, let's hatch it here. We will sunder. Then it's in my draw deck still. A kick will be really useful if we draw this next turn. I'm gonna guard on Redmont to gain a little more shield. He's attacking Thawsunder. That will be fine. We didn't get the kick, which actually I think is good. If not played. should use this. I want more vulnerables on him for the future. Attacking both of us, attacking Thawsunder. Okay, so we definitely want to kick him to the back rank, because I don't want to have to deal with that 12 damage on a vulnerable Thawsunder this round. And we want to kill him this round if we can. We'd also billhook him to the back rank too, if necessary. So let's start with the thing that we know we need to do, and actually we should bill. Oh, actually we have red powder here too. Let's red powder, and we'll billhook him to the back. Can I kill him this turn? I think I can. Let's momentum. And we'll discard the guard. Set him up. And we'll play the... Oh! Yes, calculating strike. 8 damage, 2 backpack. Oh, strong stuff is back here again. Oh, then we can full heal. Can I kill him this round? I don't have a billhook. We need to kill him this round, though. Or I need to gain a lot of shields, which I can't gain. I think we can kill him, though. Let's start with an experience strike. 16 more damage has to be done. Yes, we can kill him this round. Let's start with strong stuff. Or continue with strong stuff to heal him more. Now, if I had, by the way, a willpower point, he could have used it to clear the poison off of him. Alas, I used it earlier on to move someone out of the way. Hatchet. Oh, we have Deep Strike here, too. So that will kill him off. But let's use Hatchet first. Hatchet kills him off, too. We won! And I don't think we took any significant damage either at the end of that. 267 bucks. We get a card. We're going to take Carnage, because it lets me show you guys how Ruin works. And we get some gear. Always check your gear, by the way, because as you can see, this is superior medium armor. Our medium armor is only 14. This gives us 24. So we will take that instead. 10 more armor. As for our bear, we could give him heavy armor, in which he starts with 30 and gains 5 armor each round, but he's also going to be winded, losing 1 stamina. So instead of having 4 stamina, he'll have 2 stamina. But he did level, and I'm going to give him +1 more stamina. So we'll take this. We'll also hold on to that light armor, in case I change my mind. And since we both leveled up, and I mentioned we'll do Red Bond first, another stamina for him. Choose a passive. So these are talents. These are not cards that we'll earn. They allow him to benefit somehow from things that he does. Fundamentalist. Strikes and guards are doubly effective when played by this character. That literally is the strike and guard cards. He'll gain 10 armor for a guard and do 10 damage with the strikes. Whenever this character uses a racial ability, draw 1 card. That would be his willpower cleanse. With only 1 point of willpower, I'd rather not take that. Blessed. Start each combat with 2 will. This seems like a useful thing. Let's take that. And as for Thawsunder, I'm not sure what I want yet. Let's see what, for stamina or will. Let's see what talents he earns. Stoic. Whenever this character plays a card costing will, or uses their ability, they gain 10 vitality, so they heal 10 life. Fundamentalist again. I actually want to get rid of my guards and strikes, so I'm not interested in having them in my deck, so I don't really want Fundamentalist. Inspiration. Everyone on this character's rank starts with 1 combat. The next time your character loses stamina... Inspiration. Everyone on this character's rank starts combat with 1. So it affects you once at the start of combat, and only then will this take place. I think either of these is very nice. This will let me play most of the cards in my hand on the first turn. Even if I have, like, high-costing stamina cards. This lets him begin healing later on if I put more willpower in him. I think we'll start with Inspiration. And we will grab another point in stamina for him as well. It looks like your presence in the city is becoming noticed. It's only going to get harder from here. A hidden gem. Gain a random upgrade token. We don't have any of these yet. Let's go ahead and choose this. We've earned an upgrade token. We are allowed to apply this to one of the cards that we have. This is my favorite upgrade token so far as well. Whenever we use the ability, it will heal 5 vitality. Generally, for this type of token, I want it on an ability that anyone can use, and that's as cheap as possible. Momentum would be good for a guaranteed heal, but we'd have to have a card we can afford to discard. I've been putting it, when I get it, onto Vanguard, since I'm almost always going to use this. So why don't we go ahead and do that? In the future now, we can see which cards are upgraded by going here, and I think selecting... Yep. This shows us which cards have upgrades, and we can return this token back to our pile by dragging the card down here, in which case it is removed. I think you're allowed to put multiple upgrade tokens on cards. Alright, well with that done, let's go back and do more combat. This crossroads sets everyone to 3, and then this gets discarded down to 2, which means that we only have 1 more draw to the end. Oh. This is perhaps how we access Chapter 2, if I'm interested in doing so. Let's see what this is. According to this, we'll earn 150 florins for this task. A merchant sits amongst fishing crates, barrels, and other miscellanea. In the moonlight sits the very thing you need. A small boat. Oh, no, we'll have to purchase the boat, I think. I don't want to fight the next chapter bosses yet. I want to keep adventuring in this chapter for this recording. So I'm going to skip this. Let's go to Brawlers. Okay, the game's frozen again. So I'll show you what I'm doing to... Or frozen. It won't let me click on something. We don't need to pick any of these. And I think I'm not going to pick... Well, another withdrawal could be really useful. But we don't have a lot of will. So we're not... That would end up cluttering my deck. I'm just going to say leave. Let's choose this combat. Foes block your path. You can't move this way without a fight. Take their blood for Landon. Tough battle. 8 damage to Thawsaw, and he'll gain safety in numbers. Same thing here. Deals 10 damage. Oh, they're all attacking Thawsunder as well. Every single one of them. We also have 2 weasels in the background who will use debilitating shots. If we can kill one or both of these hares, we definitely want to do that. Let's use our Mouse's special ability to use Rush to start. And now that gives us 9 charge to play a red powder with. We can hatchet one of these guys to death. We can strike the other one. And then we can calculating strike this jerk. If I'm making this game look easy, by the way, note that it's not at all. I should have said this at the beginning. I died to like the third fight set like 2 times because I wasn't sure what I was doing. And I think it was about my 12th or 13th run through the game that everything finally clicked. And I was able to make it to the first chapter boss and beat him. I had abandoned quite a few runs because it was just, I was taking damage, I didn't want to finish it. That's kind of dumb. I should have finished those early failures and abandoned the runs because you at least earn experience points for your account to unlock things if you watch your characters fall. I didn't really want to do that, right? One's attacking Redmont, one's attacking Thawsunder. It's not the damage. What's he doing? 6 damage. If more than 18 will apply bleed. Why don't we use an exertion on Thawsunder to start this? And I want to take back our red powder. And we're going to use that back here. We can then do a deep strike to kill one of these weasels. But I won't kill the other one, unfortunately. I targeted the wrong one because Redmont's going to be attacked. Okay, doesn't matter. Oh, it does matter, but it's too late now. Let's use a strike here, a shield, and then a solid footing. With only... Oh, by the way, we should look at this too. A Fury. At turn end, this character gains charge equal to the stacks of Fury, and in Fury increases by 2. So at the end of this round, he would have 3 charge, doing 3 more damage with his next attack, and this would go to 5. So you gotta pay attention to this jerk. But I plan on killing him. Hey! So first off, we have a Vanguard with a heal. We should totally use it on Thawsunder so he heals more hit points. We haven't seen what ruins do yet. We've seen Ruin mentioned once. This says ruin a card in hand, deal 8 damage, and 3 bleed. Every time you play this card, damage is increased by 8, and bleed is increased by 3 this combat. We're not going to really get the chance to see it because the combat's about to end, but let's use it. We have to choose a card that we want to ruin. This will change the card into a ruin card. The club is a good choice because we don't actually have the club equipped, so why not change this to something that might be useful? And change it to Ragged Claw. For 1 stamina, this deals 5 damage, but the user takes 1 damage. Ruin cards generally have a penalty to using them of some sort, in addition to doing something like doing damage or something. We'll take a look at them at the end of this episode together. Just know that when I started playing the game, I was terrified of ruining cards, but since I have beaten the first chapter boss, I understand that there's nothing to be afraid of, and that you can actually use them to great effect if you're very cunning. Gain a card, protection, gain shields equal to the total shield of adjacent allies on rank. Sweep kick, select a target, move them to a vacant position on their rank. Coordination, if active... So this doesn't sound very useful because the enemies, to my knowledge, if left around on their rank, still target the same things. But sometimes there's enemies blocking the way for you targeting enemies in the back. And this would be a way to move them around so you can target enemies who are being shielded by others. Coordination sounds useful, but I don't think it will take any of these. We'll just skip the cards. Helping Hand. A hooded figure emerges from the shadows, startling you for a moment. They reveal a friendly token and offer you something for the road. A hooded figure stops in your path. May the wind always be at your back. We can choose a card. Rotate could be useful to actually swap positions. No Mercy could be useful. 6 damage to whoever's already the weakest, and it's a 0 cost card. But I think I'll skip these. This one is by far the most tempting. Again, a 0 cost card. Very tempting. But I'm going to skip it. We could pick Thief and lose 100 florins, but I don't see that give us anything useful whatsoever. So we're just going to pick Crossroads. Why would we ever pick this? The other 2 cards may have incredibly difficult combats, or other things that you don't want to do, in which case losing 100 florins is the better way to move forward with your campaign. At the end of the stage for this I'm calling it chapter. I don't know what else to call it at this moment, and I'm calling it stage because this is the first sword we're going towards. You're presented with, as far as I'm aware, these 3 choices at all times. The smithy will let you buy cards, not equipment. Just a heads up. At least when I was there, that's what this did. The tavern will let you hire party members. You will need at least 450 gold to actually do this. And the monastery will heal your group. I have always chosen the tavern at this level because I've always felt like I could really use another party member this early in the game. Let's go ahead and choose tavern. Bursts of hearty laughter explode from this shady establishment. Some brawny folks sit by the bar. We actually have enough to hire 2 bears if we so desire. Let's take a look and see who's here. We have Augment. He has a battle axe and a buckler with warrior's defense. Convert this character's charge to 3 times as much shield. He's wearing superior medium armor as well, so a tanky character. His battle axe says 9 damage. If opponent intends to attack this character, deal 1 times 4 to adjacent opponents on rank and gain 4 charge. Useful to play with this warrior's defense. A nice build here. His buckler, by the way, has anticipation, which means that when he uses it, this attack that targets him is completely deflected, and he takes no damage from it. We have Amelia Illingston. A ranged bear. Superior medium armor, 24 to start. A crossbow with 13 damage. Gains passive, she can't do anything else, and 3 charge. Improvise. Play any card from your draw pile and place it at the top of the pile. Banish. So 1 time per combat. She can play any card. Is that right? Pick any card. Oh, pick any card from your draw pile and place it at the top of the pile. So she can guarantee that you're going to draw what you want at the next turn. Never actually had a ranged character yet. She is tempting because of that. 13 damage is also very nice. And Tybolt Fortright. What a great name. A billhook. Very useful. Ruthless. Ruin a card. Convert your charge stacks into... What's this symbol? Brutality. This character's next attack applies bleeds equal to brutality stacks. That sounds amazing. Another billhook could also be really useful. I think we either go for Fortright. Oh, by the way, he's got 3 stamina and 1 will. 3 stamina and 1 will on Amelia. And 3 stamina and 1 will on Augment. These are all decent bears. They are low level. They probably won't survive the boss we're about to fight. If I survive it, the next boss is... The first boss in this game is not easy. I died to him 2 times, I think, before I finally was able to beat him. Having bears, though, is useful to actually fighting him. I think we choose Amelia. I really like the idea of a crossbow. Let's choose her. We have enough money that we could hire Fortright also, don't we? The question will be the cards I want to play. How many cards can I get in my hand? Because we can't actually play that many of them. Like, we don't have that much card draw at the moment. And we don't have any cards that have a significantly high stamina cost. I suppose I should mention this as well. Experience that you earn from combats is shared amongst your group. So the more characters you have, the less experience you're going to earn. If it wasn't another bear, I think I'd hire a second character. But I want to have a nice mix of characters. I wouldn't mind having another weasel. And supposedly I can now hire a wolf as well. I'll hire just one of them. And we'll hold on to our cash. A safe house for you and your fellow loyalists. Slip through here into the next street. The first boss of the game, Spitter. Famous amongst the criminal underground in Dawn's Point, this mouse packs a poisonous punch for his size. There must be a bounty on your head. I did not do my combat differently. That's I should have put her in the back. I didn't do that. That's very awkward. It's too late now. Okay, so we all start this combat poisoned. So I'm going to start here by using... Actually, I don't need to use that on her yet, because we'll convert poisons into armor stacks. So I'm going to wait until our armor runs out a little bit. They're starting out, by the way. Let's take a look at these guys. We have a Bruiser. Deals 8 damage, if possible. If opponent has shields, applies 2 vulnerability, attacking Redmont. Attacking the same target. Salvo. Deals 10 damage to a random opponent on rank. So he's targeting someone for 10 damage. We don't know who he's targeting. He has Caustic Domain. At start of combat, 1 poison is applied to all opponents. They are taking cover. We must destroy the barricades before we can target them. Flurry, a Fury and Charge, so he's going to gain more and more damage as he levels up. I've had the greatest success in this game, in this battle, by destroying his otter friends first. So we want to do that. Let's see if we can destroy one of these barricades. And I think we can do that. Let's use a charge to use a rush. Oh, we didn't gain... We didn't gain any charge. I thought we would. Okay, that's a bit awkward then. We'll use a hatchet, and we'll use a vanguard. Actually, let's use someone else to use calculating strike instead. Vanguard. Crossbow. Okay, Redmont has no shields left. Let's see, who are you attacking? Everyone. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and clear his poison, so we don't take any damage. We have pink powder. Let's go ahead and apply that to this rank. And since we have charge on Ingston, this should do increased damage to them. Now that they have Sunder, will hopefully do more damage to a barricade and destroy it. Let's try pulling this guy forward next. So, who wants to be the one to do that? We'll have Ingston do it. Now we should try to kill him. So, let's use... If it's weapon damage, we want Redmont to swing. I don't think we can kill him this round. Let's use momentum. Discarding guard. We'll use round shield to give us shields and use take cover on Redmont. Give him more armor, and we'll use... I can't use carnage. I can't use carnage now. I don't have any cards to discard. That was a mistake. End the turn. Okay. Well, I think we billhook him up here since he decided not to come up here on his own accord. Oh, and we could red powder them to make sure they take extra damage, or at least this guy this round. So, or we could billhook him to the front, red powder the front, and then try killing them off. So it would apply to all of them for the next round. What cards are coming up for me? A lot of defensive cards are coming up. Okay, so not so great then. Let's play this first. Since he has charge, he'll be the one to play it. Oh, got the other. Oh, and I had the wrong character selected, so the wrong character used the ability. Let's billhook him up. And then I'd rather not use the charge, but we're gonna. And we're gonna hit him again and kill this one. Oh, okay, we didn't kill him, but he's vulnerable, so he'll die next round. We'll give... Who are you targeting? Let's give more armor to Thaw Sunder. Okay. Let's use Exertion. And let's farm for that Sunder. And we're going to use Sunder to destroy this barricade. And then I don't want Sunder in the deck any longer. So we should have Thaw Sunder, a great name, use Sunder on to get rid of this. He's dying automatically, so we can ignore him. So let's Experience Strike here. We're gonna... I'm tempted to... If I kick him to the back, we have two enemies acting at the same time. If I leave him here... Deep Strike's not gonna... Well, we'll use Deep Strike on this guy instead. Let's have Inkson also use her special... her bear ability to clear her poison. Because she'll start taking damage thanks to this attack and the poison after that. And I guess we'll use... Strike on Inkson, since it makes sense for her to do that. And that's it. Yeah, we could kick him back, but I want the enemy having alternated turns rather than having a free turn here. So I'm willing to take this 5 damage. Thaw Sunder is now out of armor. Deal 10 damage to your opponent. Okay, so he's going to want more armor to counter that poison damage, if nothing else. And probably also want solid footing. Pick any card from your draw pile, which is just 1. And place it at the top of the pile, which is just 1. Useless Improvision this turn. We also don't need strong stuff. Okay, so we have basically garbage here this turn. We could get rid of Improvise, but I don't really want to get rid of it, so we'll hold on to it. Let's just shield here, then. Actually, we'll shield here with Inkston. And Thaw Sunder can get solid footing. And that's it. Okay. let's start by hatcheting Spitter so that we gain charge on Fall Sunder. You know, I'm willing to let Ingzen take this hit. Could I kill this one? I'd have to Carnage the Deep Strike. And I don't want to do... Well, probably not drawing it again. We'll probably end... This combat's... We're probably winning before we get around to having our draw pile gone through again. Oh, he's attacking Fall Sunder. Darn it, I really don't want him taking more damage. It's going to be 11 damage to Fall Sunder, and then he's going to take more poison damage too. I don't think I can kill this guy, though. Let's see, 5 damage, and he takes 75% more. Setup, which will be 11 damage. Draw a card, and he's too vulnerable. We might kill him. Let's try it. So we're going to red powder here. We will then set up. If I have momentum, we could deep strike. I think he dies to a Carnage, so we will Carnage the momentum. Butcher. Gain 3 stamina. Gain 1 winded. Deal 8 damage. Take 2 damage for 2 stamina. And then oh, nice. And then we can actually deep strike Spitter. We need to kill him this round. I don't want Fall Sunder taking even more damage. Let's pull him forward so if we fail this, he won't get an attack at least. We can use a guard on Fall Sunder to make sure he doesn't take that damage. I guess we could also exert here and then re-grab that guard, which will banish it and give him more armor. And then we're not actually going to kill him this round, are we? No, we're not. I better be able to kill him. We can't kill him this round. Okay, this stinks. We need a guard on Fall Sunder to stop that damage, and then she needs a guard on her to block that damage. And then Fall Sunder can use a Vanguard to heal. And we can use a strike here, and we're done. Getting rather unlucky with the cards we're drawing. Okay, we have a round shield. Let's use it to start. We should kick him back and pink powder him. So let's do that. See, let's... we all have 3 stamina. Yeah, let's kick him back. Pink powder him. Calculating strike. And then solid footing. And it's over. We managed to do it. Let's finish him off with the crossbow to his face. Very, very nice. 2 or 3 florins. We've gained a card. Another Carnage, if we want to double down on ruined cards. akimbo, but we're not using anyone dual-wielding at this moment. So I don't want this. And wildfire, which is 4 damage to everyone on the enemy's side. I don't think I want any of these at this point, because I'm not so sold on my final party yet. So we'll skip these. We gained some heavy armor, which is what we currently are wearing here. And superior light armor, which is more or less what we have. But 1 more armor. Alright everyone, I think what we'll do is we will first, before we end this session, change the combat positions, because I want Ingsting in the back rank, not the front one. Doesn't matter right now to him where she is. As a reward for this, for being that boss, you get to choose one of these 3 things. 1,000 florins, 1 character levels up. All the party is healed. I really like wealth as a reward for this so far. This could also be useful, leveling up a character. Ingston will take a little bit before she levels up, since he's 344 below the other characters. I don't know if we'll need 1,000 florins, actually, now that I think about it. Maybe we do take excellence to level up Ingston to be closer to our other characters, since she is only level 2. But 1,000 florins can buy a lot of nice stuff. Although our next opponents will be a lot tougher than what we fought so far. We might be glad to have Illingston leveled. I think I've just convinced myself to level her up. Let's choose excellence. Or maybe I think we'll survive, actually. 1,000 florins for us. Let's take it. Oh, and as usual, the game is a little confused. Why are you doing this to me, game, today? What's happening? Okay. Let's choose excellence. No, let's choose wealth. And when we come back, everyone, in the next episode, we will have the first battle in the next stage. These have gotten a great deal more difficult now as well, as you'll see. I'll look forward to seeing you guys then. Thanks for watching, everyone, and take care.